Deborah, thank you for being with us today. It's great. It's great having you here. Look, you have a great experience on identifying startups, helping startups to grow. Probably the main challenge now that they have now is how they make these ideas bigger. So any tips you have for them?
So they've actually already overcome the really, really hard bit, which is the idea into actually turning it into something. But you're right, at this moment, when they know they've got a tiger by the tail, they've got a really good business, what do I do next? The first most important thing I think people need to do is identify their perfect investors. Everybody thinks we need cash. What I think is they need the right investors. Yeah. So these are investors who are not just going to put the money in, but they're going to have the right contacts. They're going to be able to support them in other ways, not just the cash. Yes. And also, then they've got a better chance of getting money, because if they're identifying the right investor is going to understand their business. If you go in front of an investor and they look at you as if what are you, mad? They're probably not the right investor for you.
Great point. And do you think, what's the role of big companies like us here? Because, we're very happy having gone through, as you say, from the very beginning to the point where we are now, but we feel a bit, to be honest, we don't really know how we can keep helping them. So any tip you have for big companies like Bupa?
Well, I think even when people come into Dragon's Den, or even when people look for investment from me, what they really want, they want my contacts. Yeah. You must have so many contacts and connections that you can make for these businesses. Yeah. Your clients are going to be interested in the products that they have got. That's so being able to make those connections, I think, is probably the most powerful thing, because it also helps investment. Yeah. Because to go in front of an investor and say, but I've already made connections with A, B, C, D, suddenly you're in a whole different ballgame with the investor. They're like, oh, I like this. This is really interesting. So I think you actually really do hold the key.
Deborah, in relation of what you said about the contacts and big corporations that we make business with them, I believe there is an element on innovation that they can link with us through innovation. Do you think how important is innovation now in sustainability?
Two things I'm going to say. I think big organizations sometimes find it difficult to get innovation to the top. They're so busy doing their everyday stuff. So actually making contact with a business that can bring them the innovation, sort of ready formed, I think is really, really powerful. So in terms of the value, I don't think these startups should underestimate the value of what they've got to a business that is big and can be a little bit cumbersome. They can be fleet of foot. They can really launch that product. They can really focus. They can really go for it. And then the organizations can think, oh, thank goodness they can solve that problem for me. And it's funny, I talk to a lot of startups and they don't realize what they've got. I'm like, do you know you are the answer to somebody's prayer?
There's a lot of good there. Yeah. What do you think, because we believe in Bupa that our role is in the connection between the health of people and health of planet. Do you have any view on this?
Oh my goodness. So I've been worried for a while that we've all been driving at net zero, which is fantastic. But what about nature? What about people? What about biodiversity? What about our air? What about the soil? Because we are part of nature. If that doesn't thrive around us, we're not going to survive, let alone thrive. And when we think about, the particulates in the air, the damage we're doing to our soil, the plastics that are in the oceans, that's going into our bodies. It's not good for us.
No, totally.
So we're completely connected. We need to stop thinking of ourselves as something separate and start thinking of ourselves as part of this whole system. And therefore, in the same way that we would service a car, keep our house clean, look after the things that we need to care for our planet in the same way.
It's lovely, your energy. Wow, Deborah. So it's great listening. I can keep listening to you for a while. I really thank you. But let me ask you, the last question is, sometimes the climate crisis is a bit overwhelming. So there are very, let's say, depressing opinions out there. We are a bit more optimistic. Okay, so I think we can do things. We're taking action and there is more to come. So any thoughts on this?
Well, yes, very simply, human beings are amazing. I mean, look at what we have already achieved. Look where we've come from. We can do anything we set our minds to. So we can definitely do this. The issue is, have we the will to do it? And have we the will to do it fast enough? And that's where these startups come in, because they're often young, they're full of energy, you know, they're enthusiastic, they care, they're founded on sustainability. And that's why they can be so powerful in this fight. And of course we can do it. We just need to want to badly enough.
You know, what I can tell you is that in Bupa we believe exactly so, that we can do it. We will try our piece and we will not stop.